Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another session. In this session, we are going to be talking about the wheels of change. Many of you ask, how do I make these changes? How do I implement these changes? How do I make these changes consistent so that I can begin to see and move the needle? And so today we're going to be talking about the Wheel of Change. And this is straight out of Marshall Goldsmith. I wish I could claim credit for it, but alas, I cannot. But what I want to share with you is that there is an incredible opportunity when we break down change to be able to make it possible, consistent, relevant, and an ongoing part of our life as we grow and mature and develop. Because, as you guys all know, as part of this community, as long as there is breath in your body, you are still becoming all that you were created and designed to become. And so, in learning and in being able to become more self aware and to assess and to pivot and make the changes necessary to grow and to become all that you have that desire to become, over time, it becomes much easier to do that. So today we're going to talk about what this change can look like. How do I implement it? And what are the little pieces that I can do to make this change actually realized in my life? Because here's the biggest thing. A lot of times we get excited about change. We get excited about new opportunities, and it is a new opportunity, right? The idea of self-invention, of recreating ourselves, whether you have a new job or a new company or a new love interest, right? There's always an iteration of self-invention that we are going through, right? And it's exciting. It fires neurons in our brain when we do that. But what doesn't get to happen and what we want to have happen is that we want to be able to see an opportunity for us to realize that change. Because a lot of times when we want to make that change and we're trying to make that change, overwhelming because we're trying to change everything all at once. And unless we know exactly what. So today we're going to be talking about how do we make those changes. And so I'm going to go here and share my screen. Give me just a second to do that. Okay, so this is the Wheel of Change, okay? And this is this big, huge idea and expression that we are constantly changing, trying to change, making all the things that we possibly can do to change, and we really don't know how to go about it. And so I'm going to kind of break this down for you. That's a little too big here for you. Let me make this just a little bit smaller for you all to be able to see. There you go. So think about it this way. There are 4 different components to this in the Wheel of Change. There's the creating change, eliminating, accepting, and preserving. And we're going to go through these 4 options here and what they mean and why they are of value. What you'll see is up on the left corner, upper left-hand corner, you're going to see the more or the plus button. And then adjacent, or I'm sorry, opposite to it down in the bottom right-hand corner, you're going to see the less option. Then as you go up the circle to the right, you're going to see change, meaning what are the changes I want to see different? What are the changes I need to make? What are the things I need to get out of my life? And then down at the bottom left, you'll see what are the things I need to keep or accept? And how do those things all work together? And I promise you that they do. So as we go through this, I want you to think about the first option and go ahead and draw this circle on your paper and your notebook if you're taking notes, or take a screenshot of it and draw this, because I want you to be thinking about this, because this is something that you can use whether it's monthly, quarterly, annually, along in your life, for various aspects of your life. You know, for us, as we are going into 2025 and in our community, we're really going through the process of what this looks like from a faith perspective, a family perspective, our finances, our fun, our future, our fulfillment, our fitness, and then our ultimate freedom. We're looking through this lens on all of those 8 subjects. So think about it this way. I want you to think about creating as representing the positive elements we think that we most want to create in the future. Sounds obvious enough, right? When we imagine ourselves doing better, looking better, feeling better, behaving better, we love that feeling. That is a euphoria. There are endorphins that are released in our body when we are doing those types of mental processing, right? But there is a challenge to this. And the challenge to this is that you need to make sure that the creating is done by choice and not just done by chance. There's a big difference when we're talking about creating this intentionality with how we live our lives and this intentionality with how we are strategically building a life that we want to live and then loving that life that we live. That requires intention. So how are you creating? How are you making these changes in your life? It needs to be by choice, not by chance. So the question I want to ask you is, are you creating yourself intentionally, or are you just making a bunch of changes because you feel like that's what you need to be, because that's what the trends are telling you, because that's what you're seeing online, because that's what some influencer is telling you, because that's what you see all around you? Or does it truly align with your soul and fuel your fire and help you become more of who you were created and designed to be? Does it align with your purpose? Does it align with your vision? Does it align with your value system? So does what you are creating align with your value system that you have attached to your faith, your family, your finances, your fun, your future, your freedom, your fitness, your fulfillment level, all those things? What are you creating? And are you creating it by choice, or are you creating it by chance? The second thing is looking at what you need to preserve. So if you're looking at the circle, you're going to the left and you're going to look at what you're preserving. What are those elements of your life that you want to preserve and keep as you continue to become in your future self? What are those things that you want to preserve? The challenge to this piece is that it really requires soul searching. Because if you don't have a really good sense of who you are and a really good sense of who you are not, how do you know what you need to preserve? So again, taking this through the lens and sifting this through the filter of, does this align with me? If not, should I be preserving it? Or what are those things that fuel my fire because I like them, but are they really worth the things that are going to fulfill me over time? Or are they just a nice to have? And it's going to also somehow feel like you might be abandoning some of these things that you have held on to for a long time because they felt good, right? But here's the question for you. What are the foreseen distractions that would hold you back? And are you preserving the wrong things because they make you feel good? And are you willing to have the discipline to preserve the right things because they will help you get to where you are going? That's the difference when we're creating this life of intention. Now, number 3, going across the circle to eliminating. Eliminating represents those negative elements that we want to eliminate in the future, obviously. And this can be the most liberating, therapeutic decision-making process of all of this, right? Because think about when you go through a closet or when you go through the junk drawer and you're purging everything out, or you're cleaning out the garage and you purge all of that no longer serves you. And then what happens? You begin to see the space in a different way, or you begin to see or view the situation in a different way. So if you look through, based off all of your vision and value system and building the life with intentionality that you are creating, what are the things in your life that you need to eliminate that no longer serve you, that no longer suit you, that no longer fuel your fire, that no longer feed your soul, that no longer help you rise to the level of a life that is worth living. So that's a really difficult one for some of you. Some of you, you're going to want to hang on to every last thing. Some of you have every single sweatshirt and t-shirt from your sorority years because it takes you back to this night or to this event or to this blissful time when you had all these friends that you were going to have forever. And now you don't, but that's a feeling you have when you have that t-shirt or sweatshirt. Or can you hang on to the memory, let the thing go so that something else can fill its place that will help propel you to becoming the person you're supposed to become? Okay. For some of you, here's the kicker question on this one. What are you afraid to let go of? For some of you guys, it's those high school trophies, it's the high school jersey, it's the college beer drinking, parties that you guys had. For some of you, it's something from early years in your work world that you thought you peaked maybe back in college, maybe you peaked in high school, maybe you peaked in that one job that you were phenomenal at and you have been chasing that high ever since. So in letting go of this thing that you hold so precious and dear, can you see that for what it is and actually let that go so that something else can come and serve a higher purpose for you? It's tough because this is a ego piece. This is an ego soul searching process, and what do you need to eliminate? And then the last one, accepting. Accepting represents all that you want to hold on to that will serve you in the future. It is actually sometimes accepting the one thing that we have been pushing back and fighting within ourselves for the longest period of time. And we may be trying to recreate a memory to eliminate what actually was, or we're trying to change the narrative of the circumstance to change what actually just is. Maybe we are trying to have that one last ditch effort conversation in the hopes that it will change the circumstance. Sometimes accepting things just as they are does not mean we are defeated. Because here's the challenge for this piece is learning how to understand the difference of acceptance and defeat. They're two different things. And accepting something for what it is, a friendship that no longer can be, a family member who no longer can be in our life, although I want that because I don't want to have to say my family's broken. Or for this one piece of me that I have to hold on to, because although it's not serving me and it's absolutely negative, it is what has identified me my entire life. Some of you are identifiers. You have identified yourself from what you went through with the divorce, what you went through with the kid, what your father said to you, what a coach said to you. And that has been what has identified you for some 30, 40, 50 years. But what if you could just accept what had happened in that moment or what that person said about you back then as their journey, as their struggle, as their issue, and accept it for what it is and lay down the identification you have assessed to that memory or to that thing or to that person or to that relationship, so that there is new opportunities that can come your way to now hold a different capacity in your life, a different identification that you put onto yourself, or create the identity of who you always wanted to become, but were afraid to because you thought you had to live up to what everybody else said you are. Because remember, you are the only one living your life. Do not let anybody else hijack it. And so in order to build and live a life we love, we have to go through this circle of change. What do I need to create? What do I need to eliminate? What are the things that I need to preserve and hold on to that remind me of who I am? And what are the things that I need to accept, positive or negative, and just let them be? This is going to be a little bit longer of an exercise than what I've just gone through and explained, but it will be a great journey for you to go down and do some soul searching, because it will bring up to the surface that which you are struggling to move past or beyond or let go of or to accept. And then we can work through that together to help get you past that so you can keep moving on your becoming journey. All right, my friend, take care.